There's a reason powerful people make you uncomfortable. It's not their money, their position, or their connections. It's this 9 specific things they never do in public. And once you see them, you'll realize why you've been losing a game you didn't know you were playing. Every time you open your mouth in public, you're either building power or bleeding it. And 99% of people are hemorrhaging authority without knowing it. Those forbidden set of rules changes everything. Rules so effective, they're still being hidden from you. Everyone's been lying to you about power. Every self-help guru, every motivational speaker, every person who told you to just be yourself in public. They've been feeding you poison disguised as wisdom. But there's one man who knew the truth. A man so dangerous, his name still makes powerful people uncomfortable 500 years after his death. And today, I'm going to share his forbidden rules that nobody wants you to know. Before we dive into these dark truths, if you're someone who refuses to be average, who wants to understand the real game being played around you, hit that subscribe button right now. Because what you're about to learn will change how you see every interaction for the rest of your life. Here's what nobody tells you. Right now, as you're watching this, someone in your life is using these exact tactics on you. And you don't even know it. They're winning while you're still playing checkers in a chess world. Niccolò Machiavelli discovered something terrifying. Power isn't about being the loudest, the smartest, or even the richest person in the room. Power is about what you never show. And there are 9 specific behaviors that will destroy your authority faster than any scandal ever could. The first one is so simple, yet 99% of people violate it every single day. You know that person at work who always complains? The one who shares every frustration, every problem, every minor inconvenience? I need you to understand something that will shock you. They're not just annoying. They're actively destroying their own future. And here's why. When you complain in public, you're not being relatable. You're bleeding power. Every word of complaint is a signal to predators that you're weak, that you need sympathy, that you can be manipulated. Machiavelli watched countless rulers fall because they couldn't keep their mouth shut about their problems. Think about the most powerful person you know. Have you ever heard them complain? Really think about it. Comment below if you've noticed this pattern, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. The truly dangerous people, the ones who rise to the top, they could be drowning in problems and you'd never know. Their face remains calm. Their voice stays steady. They endure silently while everyone around them cracks and reveals their pressure points. But here's where it gets really dark. The moment you complain publicly, you create a new identity. Not as a leader, not as a threat, but as someone who needs rescuing. And the world will treat you exactly like that victim you just painted yourself to be. Stay with me, because the second rule is even more devastating. Have you ever noticed how some people seem untouchable? Like they're playing by different rules? They are. And the second behavior they never show might surprise you. They never, ever reveal insecurity in public. Not even a hint. You might think being vulnerable makes you human, approachable, likable. But Machiavelli discovered something that modern psychology is only now catching up to. When you admit weakness publicly, people don't just hear it, they believe it permanently. Say, "I'm not good at this" 3 times, and that becomes your permanent brand. Say, "I struggle with confidence," and watch how quickly people lower their expectations of you forever. It's not fair, but it's reality. The scariest part? This programming happens instantly. One moment of public insecurity can undo years of reputation building. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to command respect without trying, now you know their secret. They guard their uncertainties like state secrets. Drop a comment if you've ever overshared and immediately regretted it. Because what I'm about to reveal next will show you why that feeling was your survival instinct trying to protect you. Here's where most people destroy themselves without realizing it. They get excited about their plans, their dreams, their next big move. And what do? They announce it to the world. Big mistake. Catastrophic mistake. When you boast about your plans publicly, 2 things happen that Machiavelli understood centuries ago. First, people feel no urgency to support you. You're already succeeding in their minds, so why help? Second, and this is the truly dangerous part, you've just handed your competitors a blueprint to destroy you. Think about it. Every time you share your strategy, you're giving ammunition to people who smile to your face but plot behind your back. The most successful people, they move in complete silence until their victory is undeniable. If this is hitting home, make sure you're subscribed because I'm about to expose why staying neutral in public conflicts isn't cowardice. It's genius. You've seen them. The people who jump into every argument, pick every side, defend every friend in public. They think they're being loyal. They're actually being stupid. And here's the cold, hard truth about why. When you take sides in petty public conflicts, you gain an enemy without gaining anything valuable. You reveal your pressure points, your values, your emotional triggers, all before you have the power to protect them. Machiavelli watched rulers fall because they couldn't resist the urge to be the hero in small battles. Meanwhile, the truly powerful, they observed. They took notes. They remembered who was weak enough to expose themselves. Public neutrality isn't about being fake. It's about preserving your options. It's about being the person everyone can still approach, still trust, still fear because they never quite know where you stand. The fifth behavior is so repulsive to power that even thinking about it makes successful people cringe. There's a smell that powerful people can detect from across a room. It's not cologne or perfume. It's desperation. The hunger for attention, validation, approval. It radiates from people like a beacon that screams, "I'm weak. Use me. Dismiss me." Watch any social gathering closely. The person working hardest to be liked is always the least respected. The one chasing laughs, forcing conversations, seeking eye contact desperately, they're marking themselves as prey. Machiavelli knew that the more you need others psychologically, the less they value you. It's a brutal equation, but it's mathematically consistent. The person who enters a room needing nothing from it becomes the gravitational center. Everyone else orbits around their indifference. Comment power if you're ready to stop chasing and start attracting. Because the sixth rule will show you why your emotional reactions are betraying you. Pop quiz. What's the fastest way to lose an argument in public? Most people think it's by being wrong. They're naive. The fastest way to lose is to show even the slightest crack under pressure. Your voice tightens just a little. Your jaw clenches for half a second. Your breathing changes almost imperceptibly. And in that micro moment, you've lost. The audience might not consciously notice, but their primitive brain did. And now your mythology is cracked. Machiavelli understood something profound. Power isn't about never facing pressure. It's about absorbing pressure like armor absorbs arrows. When attacked, accused, or challenged in public, the powerful don't just stay calm. They become calmer. This isn't about becoming a robot. It's about becoming psychologically bulletproof. Because once people realize that nothing rattles you, you become something beyond human in their perception. You become inevitable. But here's where 90% of people sabotage themselves completely. You said something. It landed wrong. People misunderstood or challenged you. And now every instinct in your body screams, explain yourself. Stop. Right there. That urge to over-explain is about to destroy everything. The moment you launch into explanations, justifications, and clarifications, you hand control to the crowd. You're now dancing to their tune, existing on their terms, begging for their understanding. Machiavelli never explained. When questioned, he'd respond with something that would haunt them. Perhaps you misunderstood. Or even better, perhaps you understood perfectly. Either way, he kept control of the meaning. The truly powerful don't clarify. They redirect. They make others question their own interpretation rather than defending their position. If you're still watching, you're already ahead of 95% of people who will never understand this principle. Number 8 is so painful that most people would rather fail than master it. Someone ignored you, overlooked you, chose someone else over you. That sting you feel? That's your ego bleeding. And if you show even a hint of bitterness publicly, you've just committed social suicide. Because public bitterness doesn't say, "They were wrong to reject me." It screams, "I noticed I care, and I'm now damaged by it." It's the equivalent of wearing a sign that says, "I'm in pain. Please hurt me more." When you're overlooked or dismissed, Machiavelli would respond with something that terrifies people. Nothing. Complete detachment. Not passive-aggressive. Not fake happiness. Just absence of reaction. Make rejection look like they just freed up your valuable time. Act like your attention is a resource they just removed themselves from accessing. They expected you to chase. When you don't, they start second-guessing themselves. Subscribe now if you want to master the final and most dangerous rule that separates the powerful from everyone else. The ninth and deadliest sin? Publicly criticizing someone more powerful than you. Not because they don't deserve it, but because you gain nothing and lose everything. When you call out someone above you, two things happen instantly. First, everyone sees you as jealous, even if you're completely right. Second, the powerful person now sees you as a threat to neutralize. Congratulations, you just painted a target on your own back. Machiavelli would find their weakness, yes, but he'd never strike first in public. He'd wait, study, position, let them feel safe while he gathered ammunition. Then, when the moment was perfect, he'd let others deliver the blow while he watched from a distance. But knowing what not to do is only half the equation. The real game begins when you learn what to install in place of these weak behaviors. Remember, we're not just removing weakness. We're building something terrifying. Because when you delete these 9 behaviors, you create a vacuum. And nature abhors a vacuum. People will project meaning onto you whether you design it or not. So let me show you what Machiavelli would build in that space. If you're serious about power, drop a comment saying, "I'm ready," and let's dive into the construction phase. First, replace complaints with unreadable endurance. When others complain, they leak need. When you endure in silence, you create mystery. Don't smile through pain. Don't pretend everything's fine. Just radiate emotional indifference that makes people question their own strength. Your silence in adversity becomes a weapon. People start wondering, how bad is it really? Why isn't he breaking? What is he planning? Your pain becomes power, but only if no one can measure it clearly. Replace insecurity with strategic ambiguity. Never say, "I don't know." Say, "I have something in mind and nothing else." Don't admit confusion. Ask questions that shift focus. You're not pretending to know everything. You're making them unsure what you know. Once people believe you're playing a longer game than them, they start overthinking every interaction with you. Their distraction becomes your advantage. Are you starting to see the pattern? Comment below if these tactics are clicking for you, because we're just getting to the truly dark material. Replace boasting with subtle power signals. The powerful don't announce their achievements. They let them leak accidentally. You don't say you're a leader. People just notice everyone looks to you during uncertain moments. You don't mention your success. They notice how carefully you guard your time. Your silence becomes a symbol of movement. Even doing nothing looks strategic when you've mastered this frame. Replace public loyalty with quiet allegiance. Support people behind closed doors. Stay neutral in public. This isn't fake, it's strategic. Private loyalty builds real trust. Public neutrality keeps you invincible. When everyone's choosing sides and shouting, your silence makes you the only one everyone can still approach. That's not weakness. That's positioning for future dominance. Here's where it gets really psychological. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that button because this next section will change how you interact with every room you enter. Replace attention-seeking with controlled withdrawal. Don't speak unless the moment is waiting for your voice. Don't laugh unless it punctuates silence. Stand just outside where everyone gathers and pull attention there through contrast. In a room full of performers, The one who holds himself apart becomes the anchor. Machiavelli knew rulers don't win with noise. They win by being the one everyone else adjusts around. Replace breakdown with pre-planned stillness. When challenged, don't defend or attack. Use preset postures. The pause before response, the stare without emotion, the lean-back silence after interruption. These deliberate moves break others' rhythm. When they expect reaction and get stillness, they collapse into their own confusion. Your calm becomes provocative. The next phase is where most people stop. But not you. Not if you want real power. Replace over-explanation with micro-mystery. Instead of explaining decisions, say, let's see how it plays out. Instead of clarifying behavior, say, it made sense to me. Make them work to understand you. People assign meaning that often exceeds your actual intent. Perfect. Machiavelli never wanted to be understood. He wanted to be interpreted. And interpretations are often more powerful than truth. Replace bitterness with quiet exit. When rejected publicly, don't retaliate or justify. Simply withdraw. Not in anger, in cold detachment. Your removal without spectacle creates discomfort in everyone watching. They wonder, did he know something we didn't? Why does it feel like we lost something valuable? You've made yourself scarce without damage. That makes your return infinitely more powerful. If you've made it this far, you're in the top 1% who actually want to understand power. Comment, still here, if you're ready for the advanced tactics. Replace criticism with delayed precision. Never strike when offended. Wait, study. Let time reveal their weakness. Then, in a different context, expose a truth so specific it looks accidental. Machiavelli never said, that man is weak. He let the man's actions prove it, then whispered one phrase to the right audience as the fall began. This is power moving through patience, not volume. Now comes the real game, shaping how people think about you when you're not even there. Most people talk to fill silence. You speak to create it. Use pauses like invisible punctuation. Say less, mean more. Let people finish your sentences in their minds. You're no longer delivering content. You're becoming a presence they must interpret. Control eye contact like a weapon. Hold gazes until aggressors break. Ignore provocateurs entirely. Not with arrogance, with indifference. This visual dominance establishes social hierarchy without words. The crowd sees who can't be baited, who can't be rattled, who operates above the fray. That's presence. And presence determines power. But wait, I haven't told you the most important part. The thing that makes all of this actually work. Build a myth around your absence. The strongest power moves happen when you're not present. Leave events early. Arrive slightly late. Say just enough to suggest depth, never the full picture. People start asking about you, wondering, creating narratives. You've installed a low-frequency myth that travels through rooms without you. When someone mentions your name, there's always a pause. Respect mixed with caution. Question marks. That's legend building. And legends don't shout. They echo. Let others defend you publicly. When attacked, stay silent. Say only they're entitled to their view. Your allies will defend you harder than you ever could yourself. You just watch. This is how rulers operate. They don't fight rumors. They let their myth correct them. Master the exit moment. Leave while interest is rising, not after it peaks. Mid-conversation, say, I've got to handle something, or, that's a good place to pause. When you're gone, they don't discuss what you said. They wonder why you left when you did. You're no longer a participant. You're the figure they recall when alone. If you've absorbed even half of this, your next public interaction will be completely different. Subscribe for more dark psychology, and comment which rule hit you the hardest. Remember, your goal isn't to impress people. Your goal is to disturb their certainty, ignite their imagination, and create a presence they can't explain but never forget. Presence alone is defensive. Real power begins when you weaponize it. Use silence as a trap. When provoked, give them your stare, your stillness, nothing else. They'll over-explain, escalate, reveal themselves. The room watches them unravel while you remain still. Redirect questions into questions. Why did you do that? Becomes, why does that interest you? You flip the dynamic, own the moment, make them explain themselves. Use micro-movements for psychological warfare. A lingering glance, a smirk during someone's rant, a slow sip after their passionate speech. These say, I understand this moment better than you without words. Never reveal who you're truly watching. Scan rooms invisibly. Identify attention seekers, competitors, those pretending not to notice you. Gather data silently. The person who watches everyone is dangerous. The one who watches quietly is unstoppable. Here's the final piece most will never understand. Respond to disrespect with calculated absence. Don't retaliate. Withdraw your energy, attention, words. Speak to others. The disrespectful one feels colder than expected, performs harder, loses control. You don't punish them. Your absence does. Drop timed phrases people replay later. Sometimes silence is louder than shouting. Power doesn't respond. It observes. Say it calmly without emphasis. It stays with them, echoing in their mind. Become a living riddle. Warm eyes, cold voice. Silent posture, deadly presence. Engaging then withdrawn. Polite but unpredictable. This dissonance makes brains struggle to categorize you. In that confusion, you become unforgettable. You're not just a person anymore. You're a force they're trying to label but can't. That's what Machiavelli would construct. Not someone who's powerful, but someone who distorts clarity wherever they stand. The game isn't over. It's just beginning. And now you know the rules everyone else is playing by. If this changed how you see the world, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Comment Machiavelli if you're ready to implement these tactics. And remember, the most dangerous person in any room is the one who knows these rules but never reveals they know them. Your transformation starts the moment you walk into your next public space. They won't know what changed, but they'll feel it. And that feeling, that's your power taking root. Watch this next video to learn the body language secrets that amplify everything you just learned. Because knowing the rules is only half the battle. Executing them invisibly, that's mastery.